Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, Verse 56. Evam karmasu samsaktaha kāmātmā vanchito buddhaha mahishi yadyadiheta tattadevanvavartata. Evam, thus, karmasu, in fruitive activities, samsaktaha, being too much attached, kāmatma, lusty, vanchitaha, cheated, abuddhaha, less intelligent, mahishi, the queen, yat, whatsoever, iheta, she would desire, tat, all of that, eva, certainly, anvavarta, he followed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jaya. Translation: being thus entangled in different types of mental concoction and engaged in fruitive activities, King Puranjan came completely under the control of material intelligence and was thus cheated. Indeed, he used to fulfill all the desires of his wife, the queen. Please repeat. Being thus entangled in different types of mental concoction and engaged in fruitive activities, King Puranjan came completely under the control of material intelligence and was thus cheated. Indeed, he used to fulfill all the desires of his wife, the queen. Purport: when a living entity is in such bewilderment that he is under the control of his wife or material intelligence, he has to satisfy the intelligence of his so-called wife and act exactly according to her dictates. Various Shastras advise that for material convenience, one should keep his wife always satisfied by giving her ornaments and by following her instructions. In this way, there will be no trouble in family life. Therefore, for one's own social benefit, one is advised to keep his wife satisfied. In this way, when one becomes the servant of his wife, he must act according to the desires of his wife. Thus, one becomes more and more entangled. In Bengal, it is said that if one becomes an obedient servant of his wife, he loses all reputation. However, the difficulty is that unless one becomes the most obedient servant of his wife, family life becomes disturbed. In the Western countries, this disturbance gives rise to the divorce law, and in Eastern countries like India, there is separation. Now, this disturbance is confirmed by the new introduction of the divorce law in India. Within the heart, the mind is acting, thinking, feeling, and willing, and falling under the control of one's wife is the same as falling under the control of material intelligence. Thus, one begets children by his wife and becomes entangled in so many activities under the control of mental concoctions. Om Ajnanathmirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padang Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So now, today's verse, Puranjan's position is described as being completely under the control of material intelligence and under the desires of his wife. And the word here is used samsaktaha, too much attached. There are attachments. Attached we must be because we are not independent, we are dependent on ultimately the Supreme Lord. But when we do not know about the Supreme Lord, then we think we are dependent on our family situation, our country, our army, our bank balance. So this is described in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam by Sukadeva Goswami. Dehapatya kalatradishu atma sainyeshva satsvapi tesham pramatto nidhanam pashyan apina pashyati. So he says, persons devoid of Atma Tattva, meaning spiritual knowledge, do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached. This is same as samsakta. What is the word for too attached here? Pramatta, here actually too attached. Pramatta, actually pramatta means, matta means mad. Pramatta means like especially mad. So too much attachment brings about madness, so much so that we think this is the truth. Persons devoid of Atma Tattva do not inquire into the problems of life, being too attached to the fallible soldiers like the body, children and wife. We think that our position, now I have good income, I'm in a safe country, now especially with the virus going on. People think, Singapore is safe, so far no deaths, healthcare system is good. But we never know, because as the famous verse from Bhagavatam by Prahlad Maharaj, Balasya neha sharanam pitarau narsimha. We will go to that verse. So, ultimately it is on the sanction of the Lord. Although sufficiently experienced, another thing is that Pashyan apina pashyati. Pashyan means they are seeing that none of these will actually stay, because their great-grandfather, the great-great-grandfather, none of them actually stayed. Everybody had to go. But still we live this life as if everything is going to be here forever. We don't think that all this will go one day. It's just a bubble waiting to be burst. Whether there is virus or no virus, and there is assurance of death. So this is inevitable destruction. Tesham pramatta nidhanam. Nidhanam means destruction. That destruction is guaranteed. Everything else may or may not be guaranteed. Whether I will have a good business, whether my business will work, whether my family life will work, whether my marriage will work, whether my, so many things may or may not work. Or for the Indians, the PR here may work or not work. Anything may work or not work. But death will surely work. That is as sure as death, as they say. As sure as death. If you want to give an example of surety, nothing can be more better than death. So, inevitable destruction. Although sufficiently experienced, they still do not see their inevitable destruction. This is the thing. Yudhishthira Maharaj was asked, What is the most wonderful thing in this world? By Yamaraj. Then he said in Mahabharata, Ahanyahani bhutani gachanti ha yamalayam. Sheshah sthavaram icchanti kimascharya atah param. So hundreds and thousands of living entities meet death at every moment, but a foolish living being nonetheless thinks himself deathless and does not prepare for death. This is the most wonderful thing in this world. He was asked, what is the most wonderful thing in this world? This is, he said, this is the most wonderful thing. Similarly, King Kulashekar also. In the Mukundamala Stotra said, Ascharyametadhi manushya loke sudham parityajya visham pibanti namani narayana gocharani tyaktvaanyavachah kuhaka pathanti. He also said, what is the greatest wonder? The greatest wonder in human society is this. People are so incorrigible that they reject the life-giving nectar of Lord Narayan's names and instead drink poison by speaking everything else. Kuhakaha pathanti. In great detail they will study everything else. But they have no time for Ascharyametad Manushalokya. Sudham parityajya visham pibanti. Sudham, the nectar they will parityajya. They will give up. But visham pibanti. They will drink the poison willingly. Willingly they will drink poison. This is suicidal. What does willingly drinking poison mean? It is suicide. So, people are suicidal in this world. This is the greatest wonderful thing. Like the goat in the queue. The goat in the front is being slaughtered. And this goat is in the queue and it is nicely munching on grass. This is the foolishness of the goat. But a human being, he will see, oh, this is danger, let me run out. He will protest, he will do so many things. You see? So, evam karmasu samsaktaha. People are too attached to all these fallible soldiers. I was supposed to show this verse. So, although we may depend on all these facilities like good lawyer, good doctor, good country, good government, good family, good wife, good children, good bank balance, all these things we may depend on, ultimately, Prahlad Maharaj says, Balasya neha sharanam pitaro narsimha nartasya chagadam vanti majjato nau taptasya tat pratividhirya ihanja sheshtas tavad vibhotanubhritam tvadupekshitanam. He says, my dear Lord Narsimadev, O Supreme, because of a bodily conception of life, embodied souls neglected and not cared for by you cannot do anything for their betterment. Whatever remedies they accept, although perhaps temporarily beneficial, are certainly impermanent. For example, a father and mother cannot protect their child, a physician and medicine cannot relieve a suffering patient, and a boat on the ocean cannot protect a drowning man. So these are immediate reliefs for a person afflicted, but even though that is the case, like for example, we have the perfect example of the Titanic. They said even God cannot sink this ship. They were so proud. Even God cannot sink this ship. It's too massive, too perfect to be sunk. And every other ship survived. But this one first voyage sunk straight down. So, it is not an assurance. It looks very assuring, definitely. But we fail to understand that the power of the Lord is far greater than that of the Titanic or anything else. Or a strong government or a big bank balance. And what is that? Mrityu sarvaharas chaham. Mrityu is just one moment. In one moment, all our work in life, decades and decades of work, is undone by one moment. Therefore, this life is described as Kshanabhangura. Durlabho manusho deho dehinam kshanabhangurah tatrapi durlabham manye vaikuntha priyadarshanam. So this is 11 to 29 of Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. It is said, for the conditioned souls, the human body is most difficult to achieve, first thing, and it can be lost at any moment. Kshanabhangura. In a moment. But I think that even those who have achieved human life rarely gain the association of pure devotees who are dear to the Lord of Vaikuntha. In human life, we waste. How many people waste time in so many material activities? How our days and nights are wasted is also mentioned by Sukadeva Goswami. Nidraya hriyate naktam vyavayena chavavayah divacharthehaya rajan kutumba bharanena va. The lifetime of such an envious householder is passed at night either in sleeping or in sex indulgence, and in the daytime either in making money or maintaining family members. This is not the only two things. There are so many other drama going on in family life. There is some politics, there is some fights, there is some so much drama. And all of that, for what? For what? I mean, what is the ultimate gain in all those arguments or decisions? Whatever we make, everything is going to be finished anyway. So what is the point? You see? So that is the nature of the material life. So in the envious householder, also it is mentioned envious, because a householder by nature, he is always comparing with others. The wife will say, "Oh, that house, you see, their child is getting A grade, our child is getting B grade. We must send tuition. Spend under thousands of dollars." And then, or they have that, we don't have. Our house is looking not so good, their house is looking better. Yeah. Kankshati, Sauchati. There is lamentation and hankering. These two things are going on always. That's why it is, Prahlad Maharaj said, Sada samudvigna dhyam asadgrahat. The householder life is Sada samudvigna dhyam. Always giving anxiety. And asadgrahat. Nothing is permanent there. It's all an illusion. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says, get out of there. Hitvatma patam, griham andhakupam is a dark well of material existence. Get out of there. It is not. And then go to Vanam. Vanam means to the forest, especially Vrindavan, where the forest of Vrindavan, where Krishna consciousness is prevalent. And temple is also the same thing. It's an embassy of Vrindavan. So, that is the way one has to take, because one should not waste whole life. Nowadays people are not accustomed to living a solitary life. So they think, oh, if I become old, and who will take care of me? So they will stay until 80, 90 years old. They are staying at home and fully attached to householder life. How? What? Where they will go next life? Therefore, we have to always think of not being attached to householder life. In the beginning, it sounds very palatable. You see how this Puranjan is so lost. Evam karmasu samsaktaha. You see, asaktaha means attachment, attraction. Samsaktaha means completely attached. Like tosha means satisfaction. Santosha means completely satisfied. Samprasidati, prasida. Prasidata means to be satisfied. Samprasidati means completely satisfied, like fully. Samsaktaha means complete attachment. So, evam karmasu samsaktaha. This is called karma bandha. Karmasu samsaktaha is the same as karma bandha. Completely entangled in the net of material existence. Samsara jala, it is called. Kamatma, why is he samsakta? Why is he attached? Because of his lust. Because he was lusty. And he is cheated, vanchita. This is very precarious condition. He is first of all attached. He is already trapped in a net, in a mayajal. And because of his lust, he was cheated. Abudha. And such a person is called not very intelligent. Buddha means intelligence. Buddhi. Abudha means no intelligence. Less intelligent. So, when we become under the control of kama, then we become less intelligent. That's why there is a nice verse. I think it's so this is Madhya 22:16. So this is written by who? I don't know, some devotee. Forgot who it is. Oh, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu by Rupa Goswami himself. So he is actually giving an example of a devotee who has just come under the shelter of the lotus feet. How he is praying to the Lord. So it is said, Kamadinam katina katidha palita durnideshas Tesham jata mayina karuna natrapanopasanti Utsrajyaitan athayadupate sampratam labdha buddhis Tvamayatah sharanamabhayam mamniyum shvatmadasye. So here it is said, O my Lord, there is no limit to the unwanted orders of lusty desires. There is no limit. It's not stopping. The lust is a master who is so ruthless that he is not stopping to give any orders. He is continuously giving orders. Now, okay, fine. Usually when a master gives orders, one becomes disgusted. What kind of master is this? Not even one moment of rest. But you see what the servant, how I am such a stupid servant that although I have rendered these desires so much service, they have not shown any mercy to me. They have not paid me for my service. They have not shown any mercy. No, you work harder and harder and harder. And I have not been ashamed to serve them, nor have I even desired to give them up. A servant will usually get disgusted with that kind of master. But no, I am a servant that is very excited to serve this kind of master. How shameless I was. O my Lord, O head of the Yadu dynasty, recently, however, my intelligence has been awakened. This is called opposite of abudha. Now he is getting buddhi. And now I am giving them up. Due to transcendental intelligence, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires. And I now come to you to surrender myself at your fearless lotus feet. Kindly engage me in your personal service and save me. I don't want that job under that master now anymore. I want to be employed under you. I have come with my resume. But my resume is not very good. But one thing is only good, that I was a very faithful servant of lust. Now I want to become your faithful servant. So, in this way, we have to pray. Because actually, here he is saying, I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires. But, honestly, at least me, I am not in this even in this position. Okay, I have understood that the master is bad, but I know I have to now serve Krishna, but now, if I can say that I now refuse to obey the unwanted orders of these desires, then I am a Goswami already. Because a Goswami can actually reject the orders of the mind, the material intelligence, and the so-called wife. He can actually not come under this control. Why does one want to obey the wife? Because he cannot control his senses, especially the genitals, and of course the tongue as well. She cooks nice food, and then he has to eat nicely, stomach is satisfied, then the whole three, beginning with the tongue, the belly and the genitals, are satisfied by the wife. So, because he is under the control of his senses, he cannot disobey the wife, because there will be disruption in his sense gratification, and that he doesn't want. So, the reason why one becomes under the control of a wife is because of becoming a dāsa. So, we are dāsa, so we have to become Goswami. So then, how to become Goswami? If one is, why we serve why do we, even though there is so much difficulty, there is rush hour, now even there is virus going on, and still people go to work, and still they may even risk their life by doing that. Maybe not, it's not that serious for younger generation, but who knows, anything can happen. But they can pass the disease to another older generation, whatever. So, but still, taking all risk, they're still going to work. Why? Why do we serve someone? Because we get something out of it. If there is no salary in that workplace, nobody will go to work. So, why one is serving the wife? Why this Puranjan is serving the wife? Because he is satisfying his senses. So, he is getting something in return. That is his payment. He thinks that is happiness. So, when one is not wanting to satisfy the senses, then he can think clearly. Then he can make decisions clearly. And that position, Sthita Prajna, can only come if we are Krishna conscious. Nasti buddhi. Here it is a abuddha. Abuddha means it doesn't have intelligence. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya. Who doesn't have intelligence? Who is ayuktasya. Yuktasya means one who is engaged in Krishna consciousness. Who is disconnected from God, he is a number one fool. Nasti buddhi. He doesn't have any intelligence. It is explained in the Bhagavad Gita, in the second chapter. And nasti buddhirayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana na bhavayata shantir nacha bhavayata shantir ashantasya kutah sukham. One who is not connected with the Supreme in Krishna consciousness can have neither transcendental intelligence. This is transcendental intelligence. That is material intelligence. This is transcendental intelligence. That means intelligence sharpened by the instructions of Krishna. That is called transcendental intelligence. But when our intelligence is dulled by the material atmosphere, then our intelligence is employed in the service of the mind, which is just an useless factory of desires, always saying this and that. Like for example, recently there was a video, somebody was showing me that how this man was such a criminal, but he was so intelligent that he duplicated the US dollar notes so well that the expert, even when he saw all those different insignia that are there on the note to make sure that it is a genuine one, so they were checking everything, nothing was wrong. And to make that kind of note, huge teams of people, they work on different aspects of the note. It's not just one person. But this man, in a matter of few months, he replicated the entire process of it, and he was printing at home. And millions of dollars. He printed at least, I think, if I'm not wrong, 20 million over dollars. And serial numbers, everything. But once he made a mistake. He printed 7 notes with same serial number. And somebody actually checked it. Usually the notes will go just here and there. But these 7 notes were together somehow. And he was caught eventually. But you see, what I'm trying to say is he's very, very intelligent. You can't say that he's abudha. Right? But still it is classified as abudha because his intelligence was material. His mind was dictating, let's do this, let's enjoy more sense gratification with more money. So his intelligence was employed in the service of the mind. Okay, let's understand the hierarchy of the elements in the body. So we know what we're talking about. So in the 3rd chapter, 42nd verse, it is said, Indriyani parani ahur. Indriyebhya param manaha. Manasastu para buddhir yo buddhe paratastu saha. Now, the working senses are superior to dull matter. Our body is just dull matter, but the working senses, our senses are superior to dull matter because they actually interact. Now, the mind is higher than the senses because it desires and the senses go and work. They are servants of the mind. The intelligence is still higher than the mind, and he, the soul, is even higher than the intelligence. Now, this is the hierarchy actually. But the problem is, because our intelligence is so weak, it comes under the subjugation of the mind, and although it is very powerful, but it becomes subjugated under the mind's demands. So whatever the mind says, the intelligence will fulfill that. So this is like coming under the control of the wife or the mind. So now, if the intelligence, if that man, whoever did it, if he used his intelligence in a different way, that means if his intelligence was guided by, you see, higher than intelligence, what is it? The soul. And higher than the soul is the super soul, Paramatma, Krishna. So the knowledge coming from him will sharpen the intelligence. And then intelligence can actually act higher than the mind. So when mind tells that, oh, we have to duplicate notes and make money, intelligence will say, you stupid fellows, don't do this nonsense. Just shut up. Because, what are you doing? And so that is actually good intelligence. The intelligence should be able to tell the mind. So, mind is just a desire factory. But intelligence is where we rationalize things, we think about. In psychology, there is a difference between reaction and response. Although it may sound the same on the surface, there is two things. React means you immediately, without thought, you just, impulsively do it. Whereas response means you consider all factors and then give a mature response. So, there's reaction and response. So, the difference is, in the former, in the reaction, the intelligence is not working independently of the mind. It is under the subjugation of the mind. Whereas in response, there is the intelligence is actually considering everything, rationalizing everything, analyzing, getting all the facts correct first, instead of working on emotion. The mind works on emotion. So, the intelligence has to dictate. Similarly, in the psychology of man and woman, generally, although everybody is taken over by emotions and all that, but generally the women are considered more emotionally driven than men. They take impulsive, emotional decisions. So when a man, that's why there is actually a nice verse, we should go through that. The 4th canto, 29 and 54, because it's quite long and it's in a prose format, so I will just read the translation. You see, this is 4:29-54. My dear king, woman who is very attractive in the beginning but in the end very disturbing is exactly like the flower which is attractive in the beginning and detestable at the end. With woman, the living entity is entangled with lusty desires and he enjoys sex just as one enjoys the aroma of a flower. The comparison is good. Flower is good and nice looking and fragrant, and then by evening it will become all withered. So when we don't get it wrong that we are against women, see, in the conditioned state, everybody, although we are Prakriti, Prakriti is actually female. We are all actually Prakriti, Para Prakriti. In the 7th chapter, 5th verse, we are classified as Prakriti. Prakriti means, female means to be enjoyed. Man means, or male means the enjoyer. So actually, Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajam. Adipurusha, the only male actually, the only enjoyer is Krishna. We are Prakriti, supposed to be cooperating with his enjoyment, therefore we are female. Now, although we are acting as Purusha, we want to be the enjoyer. Like when a woman wants to be a man. Nowadays it's very common. It's transgender. So, that's when the problem happens. It is not its natural position. So this homosexuality actually started with our very descent into this material world, because we are actually female but we want to be a male. Even though one is in a female body, she wants to be the enjoyer in the relationship. So that is a male mentality. And he or she looks upon the other partner as to be enjoyed. So he is to be enjoyed by me. I want to enjoy in this relationship. So he has to cooperate with my enjoyment, and I have. So the other person, and the other partner thinks that I am the enjoyer. She has to cooperate with my enjoyment. So we are considering ourselves as Purusha or male, and the other as a female. So it applies to both, either way. But especially physiologically, the female body is the women are considered more emotionally driven and therefore lesser intelligent than men, until to the point where they actually become Krishna conscious. Like we have, the greatest devotees are the gopis. They are women, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said they are the greatest devotees. So that is spiritual. Spiritually is different. But materially, the body is created like this. Whether the woman likes it or not, it is a fact that women body, they are less intelligent. Now, and therefore they require, in the purport we will see in this verse, they require guidance by a man who is also, first of all, trained in spiritual science. Nowadays the men are also not trained. And therefore the whole chaos. Women are not trained, men are not trained. So anyway, getting back here. So, with women, the living entity is entangled with lusty desires, and he enjoys sex just as one enjoys the aroma of a flower. He thus enjoys a life of sense gratification from his tongue to his genitals. You see the point? Tongue to the genitals, that we have already discussed. Jihva, udara, upastha. Tongue, stomach, genitals. And in this way, the living entity considers himself very happy in family life. United with his wife, he always remains absorbed in such thoughts. He feels great pleasure in hearing the talks of his wife and children, which are like the sweet humming of bumblebees that collect honey from flower to flower. He forgets that before him is time, which is taking away his lifespan with the passing of day and night. He does not see the gradual diminishing of his life, nor does he care about the superintendent of death who is trying to kill him from behind. Just try to understand this. You are in a precarious position and are threatened from all sides. Okay, we'll read the purport as well. This is relevant to today's verse. Materialistic life means forgetting one's constitutional position as the eternal servant of Krishna, and this forgetfulness is especially enhanced in the Grihastha ashram. It's not that the brahmacharis are all, we are super safe, nothing like that. But it's just that the forgetfulness is much more deepened in the Grihastha ashram because of so many distractions. In the Grihastha ashram, a young man accepts a young wife who is very beautiful in the beginning, but in due course of time, after giving birth to many children and becoming older and older, she demands many things from the husband to maintain the entire family. At such a time, the wife becomes detestable to the very man who accepted her in her younger days. One becomes attached to the Grihastha ashram for two reasons only. The wife cooks palatable dishes for the satisfaction of her husband's tongue, and she gives him sexual pleasure at night. A person attached to the Grihastha ashram is always thinking of these two things, palatable food and sex enjoyment. The talks of the wife, which are enjoyed as a family recreation, and the talks of the children both attract the living entity. He thus forgets that he has to die someday and has to prepare for the next life if he wants to be put into a congenial body. The deer in the flower garden is an allegory used by the great sage Narada to point out to the king that the king himself is similarly entrapped by such surroundings. Actually, everyone is surrounded by such a family life which misleads one. The living entity thus forgets that he has to return home back to Godhead. He simply becomes entangled in family life. Prahlad Maharaj has therefore hinted, Hitvatmapatam grahamandhakupam vanam gato yad dharimashrayeta. Family life is considered a blind well, andhakupam, into which a person falls and dies without help. Prahlad Maharaj recommends that while one's senses are there and one is strong enough, he should abandon the grahastha ashram and take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, going to the forest of Vrindavan. According to Vedic civilization, one has to give up family life at a certain age, the age of 50, take vanaprastha and eventually remain alone as a sannyasi. That is the prescribed method of Vedic civilization known as Varnashram Dharma. When one takes sannyas after enjoying family life, he pleases the Supreme Lord Vishnu. Not like the sannyas on the deathbed though. That doesn't please Lord Vishnu. One has to understand one's position in family or worldly life. That is called intelligence. Buddhi, abudha. Abudha means he does not know his position. Where is the future? What is happening? Nothing he knows. That is abudha. So one who knows, he is intelligent. One should not remain always trapped in family life to satisfy his tongue and genitals in association with a wife. In such a way, one simply spoils his life. According to Vedic civilization, it is imperative to give up the family at a certain stage by force if necessary. Unfortunately, so-called followers of Vedic life do not give up their family even at the end of life unless they are forced by death. There should be a thorough overhauling of the social system and society should revert to the Vedic principles, that is, the 4 varnas and the 4 ashramas. Nowadays, nobody is trained in this respect. The man is also not trained. Even if he gives up the wife, he will go with another woman. He is called a Vantasi. Vantasi means one who eats his own vomit. He has given up and then he eats it again. So such Vantasi, especially a sannyasi who renounces the world and then again comes under the control of sex, he is called a Vantasi. He is not sannyasi. So, actually there is another purport which I was looking for. This is also relevant, but there is another purport. I was thinking this was that purport, where it is said that the husband, the wife is generally in the modes of passion and ignorance. To come to the mode of goodness, the husband has to be strong enough and then lift her. There's one verse like that. Maybe the previous verse, I don't know. Just let's see. If it's not, then we'll just go back to the original verse. No, this is not the one. So anyway, somewhere else. But you see the abudha, kamatma vanchito abudha, he is cheated. That verse we saw, kamadinam katina katitha palita durnidish. He is serving the Lord, the master of Kama, like anything. Kama, not only one master, few masters, board of directors are there. The company has a board of directors. So our company in the material world has a board of directors. Kama Adinam, the biggest boss, CEO is Kama. After that there is a Kama Adinam, means beginning with Kama, there will be Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, all these things. The board of directors. We are serving this board of directors and getting cheated, not getting paid. And still we are working harder and harder and harder. You know? 427? 1. Is that? I don't know if that is the number. Let's see. So, Vanchita means cheating. We are getting cheated. You can read this actually. Actually, in Bhagavatam there are so many verses on this topic. This may be very harsh for many materialists, but actually we should take it in good stride and try to understand the importance of this, because we may be inconvenienced by hearing this message through our ear, but just imagine the inconvenience we have to go through in hell. We can save all that. So it is better this inconvenience than that. Just like now, or the social distancing, there is quarantine, that is inconvenience, but that is better than being infected by the virus and getting killed, right? So which inconvenience we want to accept, that we have to see. That is intelligence. The great sage Narada continued, My dear king, after bewildering her husband in different ways and bringing him under her control, he bewildered him in different ways. The wife of King Puranjan gave him all satisfaction and enjoyed sex life with him. They are expert at bewildering. There's one nice story before we go to the purport. I think we have told this many times, that one king, he was seeing every time that men are coming under the control of wife. Where is the man who is really man, who is not coming under the control of wife? Let's do a test. I want to see those actual real men. So he said, okay, tomorrow, but today I will draw a big line, straight line. So whoever thinks that he is under the control of his wife, you stand on this side. And whoever thinks he is not, whoever is not under the control of his wife, he should stand the other side. So let's take advice from those who are on the other side. So the next day, line was drawn, very long line, but only one side of the line was occupied. Everybody agreed that we are under control of wife, except only one person was on the other side. That was the king himself. Then everybody was asking, sir, how did you do it? How are you doing it? We want some advice. So he said, no, my wife asked me to stand here. So in this material world, one is like this. Even how big hero he is, he is actually under the control of wife. Those verses are also there. So we will go to that. But first we will read this. After hunting in the forest, King Puranjan returned home. And after refreshing himself by taking a bath and eating nice food, he searched for his wife. What is that? Huh? Oh. King Puranjan returned home, and after taking a bath and eating nice food, he searched for his wife. When he saw her lying down on the ground without a bed, as if neglected and devoid of any proper dress, he became very much aggrieved. We see it in the Ramayana also, when Kaikeyi was throwing her tantrums, and Dasarath was very aggrieved. This is the result of being too attached to a woman. If one just neglects a person and then after 2 days he'll be okay, but because really you feel so bad, really what can I do for you? I finish. Big calamity happened after that. Of course, that is Dasarath. They are great. He's great devotee, but showing, even Lord Ramachandra himself showed what is the effect of being attached too much to wife. When Sita was kidnapped, how much he was crying. I mean, he's the Lord. His relationship with Sita is spiritual level, but he's also showing at the same time what is the effect of being too attached to wife. So so much distress he was under. Of course, he fulfilled he killed, valiantly, he killed Ravan, everything. Of course, the Supreme Lord, who is Ravan after all for him? But still, because he was showing the example of an ideal human being, so he acted like a perfect man. He should be responsible. Man should be responsible towards wife. It's not that he should not be responsible. But when unreasonable demands are there, he should know when to guide the wife and when to please her. It's not that only pleasing her and pleasing her all the way. No, that's not the way. That's why a husband is considered the guru of the wife, not the disciple of the wife. But everybody invariably becomes a disciple of the wife. That's when the problem starts. It said that even demigods, even the devatas don't accept any offering performed by somebody who is under the control of the wife. That much. And Bengali, Prabhupada said in the purport, Bengali there is a proverb, I don't know what proverb is that. Good to know. But one loses all reputation. Actually, it's a fact. It's a fact. When one doesn't have any, voice of his own, everything he says, you know that it's coming from the wife, then who respects such a person? So anyway, he then became attracted to her and began to enjoy her company. A living entity is similarly engaged in the material world in sinful activities. These sinful activities may be compared to King Puranjan's hunting in the forest. A sinful life can be contracted by various processes of religion such as yajna, vrata and dana, that is the performance of yajna, dana, tapakriya. Pavanini Manishinam, 18.5 of Bhagavad Gita. That is performance of sacrifices, the taking of a vow for some religious ritual and the giving of charity. In this way, one may become free from the reactions of sinful life and at the same time awaken his original Krishna consciousness. By coming home, taking his bath, eating nice foodstuffs, getting refreshed and searching out his wife, King Puranjan came to his good consciousness in his family life. In other words, a systematic family life as enjoined in the Vedas is better than an irresponsible sinful life. If a husband and wife combine together in Krishna consciousness and live together peacefully, that is very nice. However, if a husband becomes too much attracted by his wife and forgets his duty in life, the implications of materialistic life will again resume. That's why Chanakya Pandit said, Rupavati Bharya Shatru. A beautiful wife is an enemy because she will increase material attachment. Srila Rupa Goswami has therefore recommended Anasaktasya Vishayan, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Without being attached by sex, the husband and wife may live together for the advancement of spiritual life. The husband should engage in devotional service and the wife should be faithful and religious according to the Vedic injunctions. Such a combination is very good. However, if the husband becomes too much attracted to the wife due to sex, the position becomes very dangerous. Women in general are very much sexually inclined. Indeed, it is said that a woman's sex desire is 9 times stronger than a man's. It is therefore a man's duty to keep a woman under his control by satisfying her, giving her ornaments, nice food and clothes, and engaging her in religious activities. Of course, a woman should have a few children and in this way not be disturbing to the man. Unfortunately, if the man becomes attracted to the woman simply for sex enjoyment, then family life becomes abominable. So when it is said that the man should control the woman, it's not that the man should abuse the woman or to, take advantage and then, as you say, abuse. It is about controlling means for her own good. Just like children are controlled, they are not led on the road because they are prone to danger. Similarly, women are prone to degradation. So they have to be controlled in that way. The great politician Chanakya Pandit has said, Bharya Rupavati Shatru. A beautiful wife is an enemy. Of course, every woman in the eyes of her husband is very beautiful. Others may see her as not very beautiful, but the husband, being very much attracted to her, sees her always as very beautiful. If the husband sees the wife as very beautiful, it is to be assumed that he is too much attracted to her. This attraction is the attraction of sex. The whole world is captivated by the 2 modes of material nature, Rajogun and Tamogun, passion and ignorance. Generally, women are very much passionate and are less intelligent. Therefore, somehow or other, a man should not be under the control of their passion and ignorance. By performing bhakti yoga or devotional service, a man can be raised to the platform of goodness. This is the actual purport I was looking for. If a husband situated in the mode of goodness can control his wife, who is in passion and ignorance, the woman is benefited. Forgetting her natural inclination for passion and ignorance, the woman becomes obedient and faithful to her husband, who is situated in goodness. Such a life becomes very welcome. The intelligence of the man and the woman may then work very nicely together and they can make a progressive march towards spiritual realization. Otherwise, the husband coming under the control of the wife sacrifices his quality of goodness and becomes subservient to the qualities of passion and ignorance. In this way, the whole situation becomes polluted. The conclusion is that a household life is better than a sinful life devoid of responsibility. But if in the household life the husband becomes subordinate to the wife, involvement in materialistic life again becomes prominent. In this way, a man's material bondage becomes enhanced. Because of this, according to Vedic system, after a certain age, a man is recommended to abandon his family life for the stages of Vanaprastha and Sannyas. So, see? So this all appears harsh because we only see this life, or these relationships are everything. How can we give up and cheat? Actually, we are cheated in the relationship because ultimately Maya, everything is going to be taken away at the time of death. So anyway, you have to leave, right? So better to live with knowledge and understanding, and for a higher purpose, than be dragged away by death, manhandled. So Mahishi Yadyadiheta Tattadevanma Vartata. So he lost his intelligence, and he just was following the orders of his wife. So there is a nice verse, a couple of verses before we wrap up. Oh, this one, 10:51:51. Oh yeah. निर्जित्य दिक्चक्रमभूत विग्रहो वरासनस्थः समराजवन्दितः गृहेषु मैथुन्य सुखेषु योषितां क्रीडा मृगः पूरुष ईशनीयते. The pathetic position of a king, valiant king, having conquered the entire circle of directions and being thus free of conflict. A man sits on a splendid throne receiving praise from leaders who were once his equals. But when he enters the women's chambers where sex pleasure is found, he is led about like a pet animal, O Lord. Like the biggest hero of all time. But then when he goes into the women's chambers, the bedroom, then he becomes a pet dog for his wife. Krida Mriga. Krida means a toy animal. Krida means plaything in the hand of a woman. So, in this way we are. What is that? Yeah. देह्यज्ञोजित षड्वर्गो नेच्छन् कर्माणि कार्यते कोशकार इवात्मानं कर्मणाच्छाद्य मुह्यति. The foolish embodied living entity, inept, is the opposite of adept. Inept at controlling his senses and mind is forced to act according to the influence of the modes of material nature against his desires. He is like a silkworm that uses its own saliva to create a cocoon and then becomes trapped within it with no possibility of getting out. The living entity traps himself in a network of his own fruitive activities. This is karmasu samsaktam. Today we have seen the word. And then can find no way to release himself. Thus he is always bewildered and repeatedly he dies. This is a long, I'll just read the translation of this. 7th canto, 6th chapter, 11th through 13th verses. You can just see how the person is attracted to family life. How can a person who is most affectionate to his family, the core of his heart being always filled with their pictures, give up their association? Specifically, a wife is always very kind and sympathetic and always pleases her husband in a solitary place. Who could give up the association of such a dear and affectionate wife? Small children talk in broken language, very pleasing to hear, and their affectionate father always thinks of their sweet words. How could he give up their association? One's elderly parents and one's sons and daughters are also very dear. A daughter is especially dear to her father, and while living at her husband's house, she is always in his mind. Who could give up that association? Aside from this, in household life, in household affairs, there are many decorated items of household furniture, and there are also animals and servants. Who could give up such comforts? The attached householder is like a silkworm which weaves a cocoon in which it becomes imprisoned, unable to get out. Simply for the satisfaction of two important senses, the genitals and the tongue, one is bound by material conditions. How can one escape? So, the only answer is Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, it's a very bad place to be. We are so foolish in this material world that Krishna, he doesn't, we always compare this material world to a karagraha, a prison. But there are no bars, we're not behind bars. But we are so foolish that we are like the silkworm. We construct our own bars and cocoon, but we cannot come out of it. So we become so foolish that we dig our own grave and, what is that? What is it called? Bury ourselves. Yeah. So this is the point. But there is one thing. This is same attachment. I think where is that? I don't know if this is a... Yeah. I'm lucky. Just got the right number. Sango yah samsriter hetur asatsu vihito dhiya sa eva sadhu shukrito nisangatvaya kalpate. Association for sense gratification is certainly the path of bondage, but the same type of association performed with a saintly person leads to the path of liberation even if performed without knowledge. So, we have to associate. We cannot be free. We are dependent on our existence. So our association should be with the devotees and not with our family. Therefore, even when one is a family person, he should always constantly come to the temple and associate with devotees. That is the whole point of actually coming to the temple. Many people think coming to the temple means taking darshan. No, I also have Krishna in my home. No, he is not only in your home, he is in the brothel also. He is in every single atom also. Paramanu chayantarastham. That is not what you are coming for in a temple. In a temple you are coming for the association of devotees more than anything else. Because Krishna says, Yatra gayanti madbhakta, tatra tisthami narada. Where my devotees are glorifying me, serving me, there I am situated. Like today, COVID-19, every places of worship are getting closed. Doesn't matter. Where devotees are, the Lord stays there. Even if it is under the tree. Now we don't even have, now they say social distancing. So we can associate through online. Now we have online class. Somewhere or other. Actually, it's a good thing in one sense that there is a lull in the materialistic hustle and bustle. Because now, with everything, all these working from home and quarantine and travel restrictions imposed, we have more time to sit down and chant Hare Krishna, read Bhagavad Gita. So it's never actually, in fact, whenever there is a decrease in material activity for some reason, it is actually a very good atmosphere for spiritual growth. We can use that time in reading Bhagavad Gita and associating with devotees and engaging in service. So it is actually a good thing in one sense. People are too distracted. We have to do this, we have to do that, we have to travel everywhere. Krishna says, stop everything nonsense. Sit down in one place first and hear Bhagavad Gita. What nonsense, go here, go there. What are you doing? See, Krishna has given so much facility. And devotees are also there going out every day, trying to convince these people, stop your nonsense. Oh, why you are so busy? Come. First read the Bhagavad. No time. Now you got so much time. But now what they are doing? Some people, they are writing on social media. You see, when the time of need comes, temple doors are closing, mosques are closing, churches are closing. The real temples are now the hospitals where the real God is there, the doctor who is now saving these people. Where are those gods, those man-made gods in the temple? They have closed their doors for these suffering people. Whereas real gods who are human in the form of humans, form of doctors, they are working in the modern temples known as hospitals. Yes. Big thing. Many people are saying, especially Indians, rascals of the first order. They like to speak like this. Simply, when everything was going good, that time they were not grateful that the temple doors were open. They were not coming anyway when the temple doors were open. So it's actually for them the temple doors are as good as shut anyway, with or without the virus. The virus is in their head all the time. When the Lord was open, that time they don't want to come. Oh, you don't want to come? All right, you go to the hospital. So, and then even if they come, they are not interested in the Lord. They are not interested in Him. They come here, Krishna, please save my, let my pregnancy go through, and let me deliver a child, or give me a good job, or let me pass my exams, or anything, or my business, let it become successful. Shubh Labh. Every Indian office outside you can Shubh Labh. They want Labh only. They are not interested in God. They'll put Ganesh and Saraswati, Lakshmi. There was once a yajna, Lakshmi Kuvera yajna. One temple was organizing. They asked us to participate. They wrote us an invitation in email. Please come and participate in this Lakshmi Kuvera yajna for prosperity, wealth. I wrote them back. Sir, how can you put Lakshmi and Kuvera together? Lakshmi is the wife of Narayan. Why are you putting her with Kuvera? Just because you want some money and Kuvera has a treasure of heavenly planets, Lakshmi has money, you just want to put them together and milk out the money, is it? Worship them properly, Give them the respect that they actually deserve. What is Lakshmi Kuvera Yajna? How can Lakshmi come out with Kuvera? Somebody other than her husband. What nonsense is this? Then we showed two verses actually from Bhagavatam. One by Kuvera, one by Lakshmi. Saying that we will only bestow our benedictions on the devotees of Lord Narayan. What is that? Lakshmi one I remember, Kuvera one I forgot actually. It is in the fourth canto. Yeah, in the Dhruva Maharaj. Yes, correct. Kuvera speaks to Dhruva Maharaj. Correct. I actually forgot the number of that verse. It's in the fourth canto, I know. But the other one is in the fifth canto. 5:20-18, I know. Sorry. No, 5:18-22, sorry. So Lakshmi herself is saying to Narayan, see what she's saying. Mat praptaye jesha surasuradayas tapyanta ugram tapa indriye dhiyah rite bhavat pada parayanam namam vindantyaham tvad hridaya yatojita. O Supreme Unconquerable Lord, when they become absorbed in thoughts of material enjoyment, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva as well as other demigods and demons undergo severe penances and austerities to receive my benedictions. Lakshmi is saying. But I do not favor anyone, however great he may be, unless he is always engaged in the service of your lotus feet. Because I always keep you within my heart, I cannot favor anyone but a devotee. This is Lakshmi. We have classic example in Ramayana. Our Ravana wanted favor of Sita, who is Lakshmi herself. What happened? Swarna Lanka became Bhasma Lanka. Whereas Hanuman, although a monkey, received the true blessings of Sita Devi. Because he wanted to see Sita and Ram together. He never wanted to see Sita alone. That is his qualification. A devotee always wants to see Lakshmi with Narayana, not with anybody else, Kuvera and all. That's not devotee. That means you are not devotee. You are not interested in what Lakshmi wants. You are interested in what you want from Lakshmi. So people, they come here also, they come for their own things. Nobody interested in the Lord. And busy in their own pursuits. Stupid pursuits. Krishna is telling in the Bhagavad Gita so many times, this Dukhalayam Shashvatam is a useless place. Don't waste your time here. Come back to me. No. God is not there. What is God? Doing their own thing. Now, all are in prison, all are suffering. Now they want to blame it on God. How can you blame the judge when he has given the sentence? Oh, this judge is so cruel. He gave me, sentence, I only murdered somebody because, I wanted to get his money for my family. I was, honestly or not, I was working hard for my family. And this judge is so cruel that, he does not see the full picture and is giving me a sentence of 20 years, 25 years. You can blame the judge all you want. The law will act nevertheless. You'll go in jail and sit in the jail only. So we cannot blame the Lord. This is rubbish. Now, with all the so-called traveling all stopped, they have more time to read Bhagavad Gita. Even if the temple doors are closed, Bhagavad Gita you can open it. Even in COVID-19, you can open Bhagavad Gita. Now everybody under quarantine, stay home notice, social distancing, work from home. Sit down and read Bhagavad Gita. Now is the time. I just made a video last night. Small video. Material calamity is spiritual opportunity. When there is a downward trend in material life, it is a good place to be, because even the devatas, they say that earth is a better place than heaven. Because in heaven there is too much sense gratification, that we are distracted all the time. Yes, although we are known as big devotees of the Lord, but still, the amount of sense gratification that is available on earth is just right, just nice, because there is not too much of it available, and that is conducive for spirit. And there is not too much suffering also, because too much suffering also, I don't know, if you are beaten all the time, how in hell, hardly it is possible. Beaten all the time, stomach ripped open by birds, and what kind of hellish punishment, cooked in boiling oil. Where you can think of anything? When you don't have a little bit headache, already big problem of chanting. Think of being cooked in boiling oil and elephants tearing you apart, and with wolves and jackals eating the intestines. How you can be any sane? So it's too much suffering there, and in heaven too much enjoyment. Here it is just the right proportion. Even the demigods themselves said in the Bhagavatam, the earth is better place. Especially in earth, the India is better place. Because there is so much spiritual culture already there. But unfortunately, the human beings are not interested. After having all these things, they are not interested. This is their problem. Especially in Kali Yuga. And they said even in all the time, Kali Yuga is the best age. Better than the Satya Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, Treta Yuga also. Because you don't have to do thousands of years of meditation and big costly fire sacrifices, big temple. Just by chanting you can get all the benefit. And within what lifetime? 60, 70 years. One will last. Maybe 90 years. For Devatas it is 90 days. 3 months. Get moksha completely, you can go back to Godhead. How big deal. Kali Yuga is best, earth is best. We are already in that place. We are in Kali Yuga, we are in that, on the earth. We want to blame. Oh, see, God has closed his doors. But the gods in the human form, they are working. See, they don't understand. They think help means when something big happens like this, when everything has gone wrong, then you do damage control, that is help. Certainly that is help. We're not discounting the work that the doctors are doing. No. They are doing a great job. But all this could have been prevented if we are not sinful. Prevention is better than a cure. Cure is painful and the damage is already done. But prevention, just like for example, the other day I was one of our devotees got fined, by his company because he was working in a construction company and he was caught by the safety officer. He was not wearing his harness, safety harness. He was working at a height. He was not wearing his safety harness. So he was charged $2,000. $2,000. So he also asked the same question. So he said, what is this? How can I pay $2,000? The harness costs so much. Is it $2,000 harness? Just a few dollars only. And all the time I was wearing that. Few minutes I did not wear. He came in that time and he saw me. And then I asked him, okay, the harness is, it's not very expensive. But if something happened and you fell down, is your life worth $2,000 at least? Do you think? Or is it not even worth that much? So then you will think about what is it? It's not the cost of the item that you have not put on. It's what it's worth. It is a small cost, the harness. To put it on is just a little bit effort. But the amount of suffering it can save you from, enormous, is completely disproportionate. You see, prevention, in other words, is so much cheaper and easier. But we choose to make it worse, and then when it comes to this stage, now it requires massive efforts all over the world to contain it and all these things. And they think this is help, here is help. And what you are doing, just sitting down and chanting and wasting time. No, we are asking, all this could have been saved. We are just asking you to put on the harness. That's all. And when the fine comes, $2,000. How can this is unreasonable? Who asked for it? We asked for it with our foolishness. So they don't understand. They think, somewhere the virus started somewhere in China with some, many conspiracy theories are also there, who maybe it's a bioweapon or maybe it came out from a wet market or whatever it is. Whatever it is, it happened by the will of the Lord. Nothing can happen without the will of the Lord. It happened. So why did it happen? There is a good concept in earthquake. An earthquake, sorry, it's like almost 10. We'll stop. Just 2-3 minutes. An earthquake, the center at which it happens, it's called the epicenter of the earthquake. But actually that's not the start of the problem. Nothing is happening on the surface. Why did it just break and quake? Because the problem is actually underneath that epicenter. I don't know how many kilometers underneath. That is called the hypocenter of the earthquake. And that is where the real problem is. We see so much damage and all that, but it's starting from this epicenter. And even that is not the start. Hypocenter is the start, where the tectonic plates are out of order. So we can't see the hypocenter. So it's not immediately visible, the reasons for things that happen in the world or even our life or anything. They say, why bad things happen to good people? That's very superficial. You are just seeing, what is some quaking, why this quaking is happening. You have to understand something happened, you have to understand the full picture. You just can't answer why bad things happen to good people, what is the use of being good. Wait, don't be too jump around, like a monkey. Sit down and try to understand the whole science. Read the Bhagavad Gita. Now that you have time, read Bhagavad Gita and understand how the whole mechanics of law of karma work. Then we can understand. Then we can understand how it works. So what we did in our previous life, now we are experiencing. Not what we are doing now, our experience will be in the future. So you can't match these two. I am doing good but I am experiencing bad. That means something bad you have done in previous life, now you are experiencing. But if you do good, the future will be good. Why you compare these two situations here? They don't understand things, how they work. And simply come to this kind of conclusions. Even when they have now time to read Bhagavad Gita, they choose to blame the Lord. See, this is what is real. This is not real God. This is man-made God. Shut the door when you really need Him. You mean other time you don't need Him? We think like that. You think the air we are breathing is without Him? The water you are drinking is without Him? The atheist also using his tongue, his stupid tongue to talk nonsense, That tongue is given by the Lord. He is taking everything from the Lord and deriding him. And now he wants to talk nonsense, saying that, oh, God is not there, God is all some fake. So, this is the foolishness of the materialists. So, we have to, because why? Samsakta. Karmasu samsakta. Evam karmasu samsakta. They are too much attached. They practically worship their wives. Not my word, huh? What is that? Oh no. Hmm. 1158. Okay, we'll just read the translation. The materialistic followers of Vedic rituals, giving up the worship of the Lord, instead practically worship their wives, and thus their homes become dedicated to sex life. Such materialistic householders encourage one another in such whimsical behavior. Understanding ritualistic sacrifice as a necessary item for bodily maintenance, they perform unauthorized ceremonies in which there is no distribution of foodstuffs or charity to the brahmanas and other respectable persons. Instead, they cruelly slaughter animals such as goats without any understanding of the dark consequences of their activity. Is this not the situation of the world today? They do all these things. And the amount of sins that the human beings are committing, the virus has killed how many now? 9.4 thousand, I think. 9.4. That's all. The amount of birds, the amount of animals, the amount of things we are killing every day. Millions of them. We are the worst virus on the planet. Human beings are the worst virus on the planet. And why should we not expect anything in return? Only 9,000 deaths is actually very trivial punishment by the Lord so far. It's hardly anything. Luckily, it's not as deadly as, you touch it and you die immediately, something like that. It is still actually a grace period, where we can actually do something about it, and you can peacefully at least read Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, if you are touching and dying everywhere, how much even worse it would have been. But the Lord gave a milder punishment. Already it is paralyzing the entire world, and something which we can't even see. Corona means crown, Now it is the king of the world. It has a crown. He is the king of the world, imprisoning everybody. Why? Because we allowed it to be so. It's not that we are not responsible, we are responsible. Its introspection also should be there. As much as, we have to take our care of cleaning the hands, or cleaning our heart is more important even. They say wash your hands with soap, Our heart has to be cleansed. Cheto darpana marjanam. Param vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. By chanting Krishna's name, our heart can be cleansed. So anyway, we'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Oh, this is because there are so many verses. The whole Bhagavatam is full of these verses actually. But it's, very time is of constraint. We are already running very late. What is that? 10 what?
10.
Persons with the vision of differentiation are imbued with the material qualities of lamentation, jubilation, fear, envy, greed, illusion, and madness. They are influenced by immediate cause, which they are busy counteracting because they have no knowledge of the remote supreme cause, the personality of Godhead. Yeah, this is a good verse. 7, 14, 12. One so seriously considers one's wife to be his own that he sometimes kills himself for her or kills others, including even his parents or his spiritual master or teacher. Therefore, if one can give up his attachment to such a wife, he conquers her. Supreme Personality of Godhead was never conquered by anyone. One can conquer what? Gives away attachment to the wife, he can conquer the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
In the Madhya 22:16 verse, it's not in the Bhagavatam, but it's spoken by the Brahmana stories in the Jain family.
What?
It's spoken by the Brahmana, it's not by the
Rupa Goswami wrote it in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. What Brahmana?
11 chapter.
No, the Kamadinam verse is not there.
It's mentioned in the
No, Avanti Brahmana, he differently he says it, but
it's not mentioned that he's the one.
no, that Kamadinam, this exact verse is not in the Bhagavatam.
It's not in the Bhagavatam, but he's the one.
Anyway, this particular verse is by Rupa Goswami. Okay, we will stop it here. Grantaraj Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.